Howdy, everyone, and welcome to your AoM class. In today's lesson, we're going to be learning about universal heroes, an integral part to the Age of Magic game, and they play a great part in your team compositions. But before we get into it, we must first contemplate one thing. What is the universe? We must take a look at the larger picture before looking at these heroes and what they offer to you in the game and your team builds. My name is Professor Pulcho, and I have been an astrophysicist for 74 years. I know 3 different planets. I have seen all of the Star Wars movies as well, so there is no better person to take you through this journey than myself. So let us get stuck into it. Universal heroes. Universal heroes are heroes of versatility. In an age where heroes are heavily built around the synergy of their own factions, there are few heroes that stray from this foundation. These heroes can be used in multiple areas and with multiple factions. They have no allegiance and should rarely be trusted. Be careful of these little mischief makers because they're going to cause havoc for you if you are versing them, but they're going to cause great deal of bliss for you if you are using them in your own team. So, yeah, there you go. A little bit of information there you probably didn't know. You did know it. I taught it to you. Always remember that. Non-universal heroes, because to learn about universal heroes we have to learn what non-universal heroes are. These are heroes who perform at their best when they are with their own faction. Let's take the mother bird Phoenix for example. Upon death, she has a chance to resurrect herself and another hero from the Beastman faction. This is not universal but specific to the Beastman only, so she's not going to benefit any other faction. If you put her in a team with orcs, for example, renegades, what are you going to achieve? Absolutely nothing, or very, very minimal. Okay, so these heroes are restrictive. They have to be used with their faction or in very, very niche situations. For example, Cradle of Chaos, where there are little bits of, this works well with this because of this one ability. But, we're not talking about Cradle of Chaos. That's a whole different subject, and there's lots to learn about that. Just in general, non-universal heroes work well with their own faction and not cross-matching with others. Quick quiz, name one universal hero. We're going to stop the video and give you a chance to name one. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Well done. Let's move on. If you named one, you have failed the test. We are not up to that part of the presentation. You've gone ahead by yourself. Please pay attention. Universal represent. The game is forever changing, and the heroes that are considered meta are changing with it. Let's cover some of the most notorious universal heroes and some that are still very relevant to this day. We have Lucky, Seven Knives, and Azariel. These were the beginning of the universal heroes. These heroes remained dominant for a long period of time, and they offered great utility to the teams they were placed in. Now, some of these heroes, all of these heroes can still be used today. They may be used in the future as well. There may be situations where players may be able to slip these into a team. It gets harder and harder as the meta becomes more progressive, but there are always game modes where their relevance may still be there. These heroes perform well because all their skills are not restrictive. They do not need their faction to perform at their best. And characters like Azariel, who just received Awakening, whereas the other two, Lucky and Seven Knives, have not, there is still possibilities for them in the future. So consider these heroes when you are trying to theory craft, but they are slightly pushed out of today's scene. We have more relevant heroes like Librarian, Irizet, and Belladonna. These are essentially the evolved forms of the previous heroes you just saw. They offer great synergy in most teams they are placed in, and they have those more advanced skills where they offer a lot more in terms of utility, survivability, damage reduction, the whole kit. They are built into these heroes, and they do not need their factions to perform at their best. Though they do perform stronger with their faction, they don't necessarily need to be paired with them. So, for example, Belladonna can give evasion to her teammates. They do not need to be witches. They do not need to be defense orb members. She can give 3 stacks of evasion to anyone on the team. So, universal. Irizet can give a percentage damage reduction buff to his allies. Doesn't matter who they are. However, that damage reduction buff is more powerful when with the bugs. He gets more stacks, or she gives more stacks to them. Librarian is just an exceptional damage dealer. Doesn't matter the team he is on, he is going to perform the same job in every single one. So this is what makes a universal hero. They can perform well in most teams they are placed in. Obviously, the team itself still needs to work, but these are like jigsaw puzzle pieces that can just fit wherever you put them. So that is what makes a great universal hero, and they are still being made today, though rarer than what they were back in the day. They are still present, and they are still changing the way we play with teams, how we take on different game modes, and how we will take game modes on in the future. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for watching. As homework, please study chapters 90 to 102.3 and take notes. We'll need it for next lesson.